Okay, so here I am. It's been a while since I made my last video and put it online. And I didn't like the last video I made on like Sunday, Saturday, sometime around then. So I'm making a different one. So my Python class finished. That's the biggest, bestest thing I can talk about. And I did okay on the final exam we just had. I think the grades were posted on Monday, and the only question I missed was one where I put in the information in a format that the teacher hadn't prepared the question to receive. Not that it was necessarily the best. Anyway, I appreciate why, or at least why I would not count the answer completely right, even though it technically would have worked in the program because of the technically it adds an extra operation to it. So anyway, so that class is done. I believe I passed, but I won't get my final marks for another week or two. I have another Python class that's supposed to start, but I'm more iffy about that one. It's focused on interactive gaming, but the more I've been looking at it, the more I'm kind of like, I'm not sure that I like the idea of programming using a crutch. So I'm more likely to go with that class and tear apart the crutch and see how it works, rather than actually do the class material the way it's supposed to be done. But that's still learning, and that's the goal, to learn. I also realized I've not been taking care of myself quite right recently. After all of the overtime, I started doing stuff too much on the weekends, and then it's like, when do I ever just take time to rest and do stuff? Or rather, not do stuff, because sometimes trying to get things done. Anyway, rest is important, and I've been neglecting it. So I need to make sure I get my sleep at night. I should be going to bed soon if I'm going to bed properly, so I'll probably get to bed in like a couple of hours. But ideally, I would be going to bed in like 15 minutes, which isn't going to happen. But getting rest is important, and I need to start doing it better and be more dedicated to making sure I'm not just running myself into the ground trying to get money. Speaking of running myself into the ground trying to get money, my workplace is offering some overtime again. And as much as I like money, I'm going to go after the money this week, but I think next week I'm just going to do an hour of overtime after work. I'm not going to come in early, and I don't think I'm going to cut my lunches in half next week. Only this week, because that gives me a little bit of extra time in this week. And more time is more money, and that means I can actually afford my computer a little bit easier. So I'm going to try to do that. But then looking at this coming weekend, I was like, oh dear, I have things planned for Saturday and Sunday, and I've overbooked myself again. That's not good. So I'm working on that. And I also, speaking of the computer, need to take the time to figure out exactly what it is that I want. I said I was going to do that tonight, and I might do it after I make this video because it is kind of a low-key activity that doesn't demand a lot from me, but at the same time is kind of relaxing because spending money, except not really, is something I do a lot very well, and I like thinking about making the most of my money. Fancy Pants had a birthday this weekend, and that was a big, exciting deal, except for the fact that I didn't actually get in touch with her on her birthday, but I left her a voicemail. Oh well. And we had a bit of a party here last Saturday, which was fun. I mean, we live way out in the country, so we can do things you can't do in the city, and we generally had fun. Yeah, yeah, Jake and Jacques both came over and hung out with people in fun times, so generally had fun. Looking forward, I saw an entrepreneurship class that's starting in a couple of days, weeks, on the 23rd. I'm planning to take that class, and I think I'll actually pay close attention to it because I really do want to have my own business, and that would be a good start. as good as any other, so I'm going to go with that class. It also looked like it had a very light time commitment, so I think I can keep up with it. Other than that, I just need to make sure that I'm not overworking myself. I missed a day and a half of work last week. I had the paid time off for sick leave, but I just couldn't get my head in the right spot to work anymore, so I had to take time off to fix it. But I'm better. I just need to make sure I take care of myself and get my sleep.